This is the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast, session number 403. Ignite your hypnosis business with online challenges.
Welcome to the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast with Jason Linett, your professional resource for hypnosis training and outstanding business success. Here's your host, Jason Linett.
Hey there, and welcome everybody, and I am really excited to share this knowledge, this information, this detail with you here this week, because there's one thing that I've really plugged into my hypnosis business, whether it's to get clients, whether it's to fill online classes, or whether it's simply to sell products. It's rare to find something that kind of checks off all the boxes and serves the benefit of continuously bringing quality people into your world, whether, again, it's clients, whether it's students, whether it's passive income sales online, and to find the incredible flexibility of this too. Now, of course, I'm talking about online challenges. And this week on the podcast, I'm going to talk through some of the strategies, some of the benefits that I've found. And let's do this properly, though. I'm going to give you a bit of a preview of where we're about to go, because as much as this is Ignite Your Hypnosis Business with Online Challenges, kind of my subtitle here is that of 5 ways to grow your success as a hypnotist, even if you don't yet have an audience and have limited technical skills. As a preview, I've got 5 specific insights I'm going to share with you. Here they are in just single word format to create a little bit of curiosity and intrigue here. They would be that of flood, solve, decide, earn, and connect. No particular order, but again, flood, solve, decide, earn, and connect. And for more like this is actually a bit of a preview of something really cool that's going to be happening this year at the HypnoThoughts Live Convention in Las Vegas. It's a special 2-day, hands-on, in-person, interactive workshop. I'm going to be doing a special post-conference called Print Money with online challenges and virtual events. The cool thing about this event is that, first of all, yes, we are limiting the space of people who can actually attend the event, because this is not just sit and observe a lecture. This is not just passively watch a couple of videos. We are going to be there together in real time, hands-on, putting the pieces together so you understand exactly how and why to launch these strategies in your business, solving a ton of the technical issues, solving the audience acquisition issues, and check out the details over at challenge.worksmarthypnosis.com. Again, you can find that in the show notes of this episode. This is session number 403. Yet simply head over to challenge.worksmarthypnosis.com. That will show you all the details of this interactive hands-on event. You will leave this event with your entire challenge event mapped out, and you'll have the principles to replicate it time and time again. One more time, it's challenge.worksmarthypnosis.com. And with that, this is session number 403, Ignite Your Hypnosis Business with Online Challenges. And with that, let's dive directly in, although it probably makes sense to take this moment and briefly define exactly what an online challenge is. And the cool thing is you could call it any number of a different series of names. So if you don't like the term challenge, don't dismiss the entire thing because, well, it could be a virtual event, it could be a coaching week, it could be a success week. I did one time called a power week. And let me just define the genre for you here. An online challenge is a multiple-day event that you host online that gives people a specific series of tasks to complete. And they've become one of the most viral mechanisms to grow your business, and they have figuratively printed billions of dollars online across many different varied industries. So again, whether you call it an online challenge, whether you call it a coaching week, or whether you adapt these strategies for any other kind of a online virtual event, with the right influential and ethical persuasion strategies, this can very quickly become one of the easiest and one of the fastest ways to ignite growth and scalability in your hypnosis business. Now, again, I've done this for clients. I've done this for students. I've done this to sell products and programs online. So if you're brand new to hypnosis, You're going to see that there's ways you can implement this to start to gather that audience. If you're already established in hypnosis, you're going to see there's ways that you can easily reinvigorate an existing crowd and then bring them into either an offering that they don't yet have, or perhaps bring them into something that's new. And I've organized this, as promised, 5 ways to grow your success as a hypnotist, even if you don't yet have an audience and have limited technical skills. When you realize that there's ways to pull this off without even building a website, it's really, really cool. There's a whole no website strategy I'm going to be revealing to those people who join me at the event that's coming up in Las Vegas at Hypno Thoughts Live. So let's kick this off. Strategy number 1, benefit number 1, flood. You can flood your business with new qualified leads. And let's take a moment and actually define this idea of qualified, because, myself included, there are times where I was promised something by some sort of marketing company. Oh, we're going to bring this much traffic to your website. Oh, we're going to bring this many leads into your email system, and, signed off a big amount of money for them to swoop in and do things for me. And suddenly, yes, my email list was growing, but they were not necessarily the people who were the right ones for me. So take note. Yes, webinars still work. I do them from time to time. Yet what's different about this strategy is the word of qualified leads. Because, let's go hypnosis training here for a moment, there's a principle that I share that compliance precedes suggestibility. I need you following a set of instructions before I could ever lead to a place of hypnotic suggestibility. Take a simple example of hypnotic phenomenon, a moment where the client has their arm stretched out in front of them and their hand is clenched into a fist, and with every number I say, feel that arm growing stronger and stronger. For that moment to be effective, something else has to occur first. You got to actually get their arm up in the air. If you can't yet get the hand to go from their lap to stretched out in front of them, how well do you think it's going to go when I then say, try to bend that arm, it gets even stronger? So when I say flood your business with new qualified leads, let's go classic physics with this. An object in motion stays in motion. So by involving people in an online event that actually gets them following your instructions, proceeding through a series of tasks, completing them, and reporting them back in the nature of how you can organize these events, do you see how those are those people who are now already in motion? And by having them already in motion, it's just that one extra step with the right strategies to then invite them to then cross that threshold and then become your clients, your product buyers, your group program members, your students, fill in the blanks. The only limitations here would ever be, imagination here. So by flooding the business with new qualified leads, what you're actually doing is getting people into a state of momentum. And then by having them in that momentum, again, it's just that one little extra step in a brand new direction, and there they are, paying clients, the people who are now respectfully conditioned to follow your instructions and conditioned to then take that next step moving forward. So 5-way number 1 comes around to flooding your business with new qualified leads. Second of all, one of my favorite aspects of this, solve. Now, here's the thing. Where most people would get this strategy wrong would be, here is my 5-day challenge, theoretical here for a moment, here is my 5-day challenge to help you quit smoking. And what you've now set up here is unfortunately a binary result. At the end of the 5 days, either they have or they haven't. And remember, in our nature of how we're going to talk about this, the challenge is a mechanism to get them to then take that next step forward. You could run the challenge and charge a high amount for it, yet I'm talking of it this way now in terms of bringing people into your world and then taking the next step and then becoming your high-value clients. So let me modify this idea here, which is that we're going to solve the problem before the problem. Now, with the right strategy toward this, and this is why what we're going to be doing for those who join me in Las Vegas, is about really pinpointing where they are right now and what is that oh wow moment of proof that you can create for people. And by solving the problem before the problem, this is going to appear in one of a number of ways. It may be that specific readiness to create that change. It may even be that belief system that they actually can create that change. There may be some very specific action steps that need to be established for them to actually then move forward. It may be something that they need to learn. It might even be a specific objection. So think about this for a moment. What are the reasons why your people typically wouldn't move forward? What are the reasons why they typically feel stuck? And I'd rewind you back, I think this must have been 2016, 2017. I've been using these principles for a while now. And there's this event that I did specifically to get clients who had a fear of public speaking. And I ran this event that was online, charged a reasonable amount of money for the front end of it, and was wonderfully profitable at the beginning of it. And then toward the end of the event, made my offer. Here's the number of sessions. Here's the price. Here's the program. And if I remember right, it was somewhere around like $975, I think was the program. I think from that event sold like 8 or 9 people into these programs at the time. Nothing was digital access. It was all online clients at that point. The principle was back then I wanted to have more online clients. And I thought, well, if I want more online clients, I should engage with them online. So I ran this online challenge event all around increasing confidence in public speaking. And one of the biggest things that I solved at the beginning was comfort with their own voice. One of the biggest things that I solved was comfort in their own voice and clarity in their own message. Now, I wasn't talking then about the anxiety patterns. I wasn't talking then about the old stories that might need to have been cleaned up. No, I was creating momentum by knocking down some of the reasons why some people would just accept the fear and go, well, this is just how I feel. So this is just a simple example here in a training mechanism. It was solving the problem before the problem of how do you perhaps modify this specific NLP pattern for this type of issue. But then the real problem was actually getting in and solving the issue. Now, the key here is this has to be done in such a way that actually enhances rapport. If you make the mistake of doing this part of it wrong, you actually accidentally end up breaking rapport because they haven't received any value and they're not going to want to move forward. Yet this part right here is why, again, challenge.worksmarthypnosis.com, the live event that we're going to be doing in Vegas, is about really workshopping this one part of it. As soon as you really understand how to dial this part in, the guesswork becomes so easy, and the benefit now becomes you can do these events on a regular basis. Bringing up the third reason is that of the word decide, which is that of bringing people to a point of decision. Have you run into this one before? You're on the phone potentially with a client, maybe you're doing a Zoom consultation, whatever the situation would be, and it seems everything is connecting, everything is going well, and you get to that final point of, and in my language pattern of this, it's the, okay, well now, how soon would you like to get started on something? And then you get to that point and suddenly now, okay, well, I'm going to think about it. All right, well, I've got this trip that's coming up. Could you call me back afterwards? And that scenario where someone now ends up ghosting you and disappears on you, and you had every bit of confidence, every bit of conviction you could truly have helped that person, and yet, poof, they disappear. Let's go back to solving problems. Let's go back to flooding your business with new qualified leads. And let's really look at this now as creating that appropriate momentum to now bring them to a place of decision. Because now that that momentum is going, it's this easiest to pivot to simply be able to say something of the nature of, we can keep this momentum going and big promise of problem that's solving, easy for me to say, big promise of solving this problem. There we go. We'll keep that in there. But by bringing people to that place of decision, now you get this more emotional reaction, which the issue they're already facing is emotional. So if you're trying to solve every bit of your business issues with logic, it's the wrong part of the brain. It's a paraphrase of a classic Albert Einstein quote that It's a mistake to try to solve something at the level of consciousness that did not even create the issue. So by creating this true moment where here is the moment to decide, here is the moment to make this decision. And the key is there's a variety of different ways to do this. It might be you're only welcoming this many people into your program. Hey, it's February right now, and looking at the calendar, we only have spots available for 6 more new clients to come on this month. If you're on the fence and you're thinking about it, just as a heads up, it's not going to be until the end of March, but we've opened up extra time in my calendar. I can take on 6 more clients specific for this issue. And side note, if you're going to do that kind of scarcity, be genuine about it. You know, you've seen these too. Hey, the room only fits 10 people, and then you see like there's 40 there. You get found out. Don't do that. Instead, we've opened up the calendar. Here's the number of spots that are left. You could do it with a price drop if you wanted to. I hear a lot of ego-based marketing around, oh, never discount, never discount. Recognize one of the things that I've learned over the years, just appropriately sidebar here, it's that different buyers respond to different offers. So the traditional thought would be you can either discount your price or you can add more value, or you could maybe do a bit of both. If I remember back that public speaking event that I did online, I think it was a value-added thing. That was my session rate at the time for a program, and it was typically, this is a this many session program, and for those people who join me, you're going to also receive this. I think we gave them an extra session on self-hypnosis, something of that nature. Or here's this other thing that you're going to get as a side benefit. So this is why, I mean, literally hands-on, we're going to be cutting up pieces of paper and moving around the pieces of the puzzle. There's so many different ways to put this together. There's not one specific way to say, this is the only way to do it. If you don't do it this way, it's not going to work. No, we don't roll that way. Instead, it's about how do we actually take the pieces and 1, match them up to you and your style, 2, match them up to your desired audience, and 3, pick the right pieces depending on what the big promise is that you're looking to deliver to your crowd. Yet this is, if I can really amplify this one of the biggest, most missing elements of most people's businesses is that it becomes this call now to book your appointment. It becomes this rather passive way of running things. By getting these people into momentum, you bring them truly to a point of decision. And by doing so, you bring them to their result even faster, which is where I would now lovingly say, how dare you not bring them to a point of decision in your hypnosis business and in your ethical marketing. So far, flooding your business with new qualified leads, solving the problem before the problem, and then bringing people to a point of decision. And as much as this week's episode of the podcast is all about growing your business, as much as the event I'm going to be doing in Las Vegas after HypnoThoughts is called Print Money, with air quotes around it, by the way, Print Money with online challenges and virtual events, it's about time, point number 4, we talk about earn. This is one of the most exciting things for people to really dial in, which is that you can profit before the profit. And let's go back to that public speaking event from years back. That was an event where it was this 2-hour thing that I did online with a brief intermission in the middle, and I sold that for like $97. If I remember, I did it to sort of a smaller crowd, and I sold 48 seats to that event. And I'll let you do the math in your own head. Well, round up 97, we might as well say that's 100. And then 47, 48, multiply that out. For 2 hours effort, that wasn't that bad. Then on top of that, like 8 or 9 people then joined me for the actual program that I was there promoting. So 8 or 9, the program was about 975. So let's just round that up to 1,000. 8 or 9 plus the other number. It was a very good week. It was a fantastic week. And respectfully, if I had stopped there, if I had just done this interactive 2-hour workshop and just let that be the thing, and at the end of it say, thank you, good night, everybody, replay's coming soon. If I had just done that, still, the income from the front end of it alone was money in the bank, received, cleared even before the event actually happened. And I didn't do it with this one particularly, but many of the online challenges that I've done over the years, both again for clients as well as for students for online programs, now then become some sort of an evergreen type thing that run on its own. And even just yesterday, buckle up for the big earnings disclaimer. Yesterday, I have to do the math right now, actually. Hang on. We have this event that I did online, and it's just sitting there. And then yesterday, all of a sudden, $171 came in out of nowhere. Woohoo! Yay! Not to put that down in any way, but I was just talking about a 5-figure event. Yet on a Sunday, just sitting around at home, suddenly the phone lights up and I see transaction number 1, and then, transaction number 2 occurred. 2 of them, one after the other. And $171 came in, passive. Meanwhile, I'm there hanging out with the kids. So earning profit before the profit. Look at it this way. There's so many things that we often are told to do as hypnotists that we put out there for free, and take it from the guy who's now recording, podcast episode of a free series. Yet to look at how we can change the dynamic by, again, offering a specific deliverable outcome, something of an emotional nature, something of a knowledge nature, something that's going to move them from point A to point B. And by doing so, then right after the event is then completed, here's where then, now listen carefully, there's a true art form to making an offer to your audience without angering them. I said that nicer than I normally do. If we don't time that just right, it's about keeping that momentum going. And if we time it properly, then people are thanking you as they're then signing up for the next thing. One of the biggest online events I've ever done, even before the Monday of this 5-day event kicked off, rough numbers, it was between $30,000 to $40,000 at the beginning, even before I went on camera live for the very first day. By the time the event wrapped up, it was well into the low, but still quite good 6 figures. And it was a beautiful, beautiful 2 weeks where that all came in, amplified an entire crowd, gave people a ton of value, and those people who saw the value in moving forward clearly then went forward. So look at the nature of how most people are running their hypnosis businesses right now. If there's someone in front of you, you're earning money. If there's someone not in front of you, often it's quiet and it's cold. And instead, to create more opportunities, one of the biggest things that I've learned over the years, and the thing that really moved my business from where it was before to where it is now, was this understanding that when you are presenting something that truly gives people a value, when you're truly presenting something of value, people will be thanking you along the way as they then move forward with you. And they're doing that. And this is a weird dynamic for some of you to get used to, as they're swiping the credit card, as they're sending the payment, as they're giving you money in whatever form it might possibly be. And it's this interesting dynamic because so often, especially in any industry where there's helping, where there's working with people to solve problems, well, that's the term you need to remember. When you are solving someone's problem, sales truly becomes a noble experience. And just to draw an expectation here, that earning profit before the profit could be a low amount. It might be $4, it might be $7, it might be $27. This public speaking thing that became a 5-figure week was one that was actually selling, I believe, for $97 because I kind of stacked a whole lot of value inside of it. And by focusing on the right language for the audience, they then saw the value of joining, but then also there wasn't this pull the rug out from under them. Oh, no, we didn't help you out, but now you really need to pay. No. Delivered upon the original promise, and people loved the event, and people who then wanted to move forward then clearly moved forward. Yet this is one of those rare opportunities where you could be in session with a client, and meanwhile other people are paying you for your services. Here comes the event. The event eventually could become some sort of evergreen online product. Just again, the possibilities here are endless. So let's wrap this up here with my favorite part of this, though. Point number 5, connect. Look at the nature of how most people, as you become really refined in business, you start to understand, and I'm going to go slightly technical here for a moment, there's always some kind of a cost per lead. And the easiest way to figure this out would be just roughly, if here's the big amount of income you have, and then here's the number of people who then become, potential leads, people who are contacts in front of you. Here's the percentage that then become clients. So even, let's go back to that example from years past. Even when I told you that it was $975 per client to sign up for that program, well, more people signed up for that event than the people who then took that final step. So I could divide that out and look at it and be able to say, for every person who signed up for that event, here's what I earned. I could also say, given the cost of, hopping on something like Fiverr or Upwork, or just hiring someone who can do graphics really well, getting some stuff designed, take a little bit of money on the front end, or even paying for a really easy to use software like Canva to create your own images. Again, this could be done with very little tech. This could be done with a ridiculous amount of tech. Yet by investing a little bit into it, we can make the event slightly better. You might need a better quality webcam or a microphone, and we'll cover all this tech for those that join me at this challenge.worksmarthypnosis.com event. Yet by putting in this small amount of effort, you then can figure out, okay, so every person who signed up, it cost me this much money. And it may be low, it may be on the higher end, but I bring this up here in terms of connect because not everybody who comes into your world is going to be that person who's truly at a readiness to go from, let's use the pricing I presented before, 0 to 975. That's a bit of a leap. Surprisingly, the leap from like 27 or 97 to the 975 number is much shorter. People who pay attention. And the people who then are moving forward, again, are giving you that undivided focus, are now getting their problem solved, or truly getting a benefit from you. So what I'm really getting at here is oftentimes there is this longer arc of time that has to occur for someone to first know you, and then like you, and then trust you before they ever actually become a client. So this is a journey that, for those that really are curious about this, one of the biggest conversations I have with friends who run, big businesses too, is what is the time span from someone becoming the stranger off the street to then satisfied buyer? How long do they often live inside of your world before they actually become a client? Which, by the way, let me just shine a huge spotlight right now. The majority of you out there are running your businesses in hypnosis completely in the wrong way. You're doing it only as this direct response way of doing things, which is either call this number to book your session, and you're putting people in a point of decision immediately, and if they're not absolutely in, they become a no, and then they fade away, and there's no follow-up mechanism. And you're basically reinventing the business every single day, every single week, every single year. And instead, it's the value of switching out the words advertising or marketing instead for a mindset, which is still advertising and marketing, of that of campaigning, nurturing. And when I say connect, there is no faster way that I found to actually take that window of time where someone begins to know, like, and trust you and then moves towards buying, and you just take all of that and just cram it into a shorter span of time where you're dealing with all the emotions, all the fears, all the logic, all the stuff that normally would prevent them from moving forward with you. It's a bit eye-opening when you suddenly realize that most people are shopping around to deselect you than they are looking for reasons to select you. And for any of you out there who kind of get stuck in the game of comparison and analysis, oh, this person in my area charges this amount. Oh, this person in my area charges this amount. Well, I'll tell you, they're not doing this. And it doesn't matter what that other person is charging when you are the person who has solved their problems, created this sense of momentum, and truly connected with them. This is where, in the words of Steve Martin, you become so good they can't ignore you. And they are now appropriately compelled to do business specifically with you. And I share this because I look around and I see so many people who are kind of living week to week with their clients, or they kind of hit this place where the income is kind of plateaued. And I wanted to do this upcoming event because it's one of those things that as soon as I kind of dialed in my own way of doing things, I'm somebody who goes to marketing events, reads all sorts of advertising books, becomes passionate around influential writing, copywriting, funnel design. And I mean, last year, 2022, we did the math. I actually reinvested about $134,000 or $136,000 of my own money in my ongoing education. And by doing so, as much as I'd like to say business is business, what we do as hypnotists is this kind of wacky little niche down category with specialized considerations. And as I saw exactly what needs to occur for our clients to make that decision, what needs to occur for them to even begin to sign up in the first place, what ways we need to talk about what we do so that people are then inspired to then take action and move forward, that's why I put this event together. So I'm going to invite all of you to join me. It's happening at HypnoThoughts Live 2023 in Las Vegas in July. You can find the details about my event by heading over to challenge.worksmarthypnosis.com. We have limited the space of number of people who can sign up. That way I can give you specialized attention. And we've done something kind of new, which is the first 8 people who sign up get the early admission rate. And then the next 8 people who sign up get a still slightly good early admission rate. And then the last 8 people, when you see what's possible as you really activate this into your business, one event is going to pay for everything that you learn. And even better, this is not just going to be a event where it's just like, okay, we're there live. Those who sign up early enough, we're going to be doing a goal setting workshop. This way, as much as this is a strategy that I've dialed in, I can specialize the content for all of your goals. And then there's going to be a momentum and elevation call that's going to happen after the event to track your progress. And something that I've not done before is that together, myself and my professional designer who I work with, we're actually going to be creating some campaigns for you and giving you the full right to just, model them excellently and pull them directly into your business. So solving the tech issues, solving the psychological sales issues, and helping you to create one of the most effective and consistently profitable things I've ever found. It's happening in Las Vegas. Head over to challenge.worksmarthypnosis.com. Grab your spot today. Hey, it's Jason, and thank you again for joining me on this week's episode, for leaving your reviews online, as well as sharing this in your social media conversations. You can find the show notes of this episode by heading over to worksmarthypnosis.com/403. That'll bring you right over to the show notes, and check out all the details and lock in your spot right now for print money with online challenges and virtual events. You can find the details at challenge.worksmarthypnosis.com. You can see all the details. You can see the incredible bonuses and how this is going to be rather one of a kind, because it's not just the event in Vegas. There's a whole way that we're going to be exciting the knowledge and putting this into motion together before, during, and after the event. So check that out. Reserve your spot now at challenge.worksmarthypnosis.com. See you in Vegas.
Thanks for listening to the Work Smart Hypnosis podcast at worksmarthypnosis.com.